Okay, good morning traders. Good morning traders and welcome to another new trading week. How are we all doing? How is our morning going? How was the weekend? Hope you're all fine before we start. Hope you're all good. And if you can hear me and if you can see my screen, please let me know in the comment section before we proceed. Can we hear me? Okay. That means I'm audible enough and my screen is up. Can we verify that? Okay, so my screen is up. We're good to go now. So as we all know, in here we discuss everything relating to smart money trading. And every Monday by 7 a.m. we gather here to look at the chart, look at our bias, and try to make um our own bias, not necessarily like a focus, our own bias into the week, what we are expecting, and possible trade setup, and not just here to share analysis. I'm not just here. The Smart Candles isn't just here to share trade setup or trade ideas, but to learn and we get to grow together. That is the essence of this particular live stream every Monday. Not just to give a trade signal, but what to educate, to impact into our community members. They also get to see chart from a different perspective, and they get to actually what develop themselves too, which is very important because it's not actually good to just rely on signals. It's good you know how to actually what it's good you actually possess this craft by your own self, so you know how to do these things by yourself. So let's get straight into business of the day as usual. So we'll be starting with Bitcoin. Starting with Bitcoin so far, the market has been dumping so aggressive. Um, Everyone is wondering what is happening. What is happening? So today we will get to look at what is happening. Let's get to understand what is happening, because everything that dumps definitely go up one day. And when you see market dumping this way, there's nothing to worried about, because this is a normal market cycle. This is a normal market cycle. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. This is the weekly time frame. So looking at the weekly time frame, we'll be looking at what the most recent price action on the weekly. So in here we have a high that was taken out. Had a break there. Have another what 1 year, but that was a sweep. And we have this break here. At this level. And the final one we had at this top here is market sweep at that level. So looking at this market here, from the weekly, we have this other block. This other block. Now, why are we actually marking this buy order block instead of this sell one? Because the buy one actually took out the liquidity below this level. So this is the right one to actually go with. So from the weekly, we can see we have this zone. Whether this zone will hold or it will fail, but for now, this is the zone we should be looking at for to expect possible bans till it failed based on our trading strategy. So this is what we have here. We have this weekly level. So we'll go down to the daily now. Let's get to see what the daily time frame is telling us. Okay. So looking at the price action from the daily, first we'll have to refine this other block. to a daily level. So this is what we have on the daily at this point. Let's get to see the bigger picture. Okay, so from the weekly and from the daily level, we can see that what price has tapped into this zone. So can we say we are expecting possible reversal to the upside since price has tapped into this level? That is what we'll scale down to the 4 hours, then to the 1 hour to actually what get to discover by ourselves to see if price is indeed we are expecting a push up to the upside. Because if we look at this level here, we can see that we have this fair value gap, nice momentum to the upside, and price has taken out all of the liquidity at all of this level and bouncing into this zone. So provided we stay above this current price, this level and this level here, we are still guaranteed that what are expecting some push to the upside on Bitcoin. So now we'll step down to the 4 hours to get to see the 4 hours price action. Already we've seen that price has been dropping from the upside. So this is the key level we should be looking at for. We have no business at this point now because we are far from this point. So this is the level we should be looking at for. What is the next opportunity we should be looking at for at this point? So going down to the 4 hours now, let's get to look at the 4 hours. So first, I want us to look at the left hand side, the other block. Let's get to see that other block properly. So if we should look at this level, because we need to understand what price is or where price is actually reacting from, so our buyers will be right. Someone is saying he can't hear me. I don't know. Is that for everyone or please can you guys hear me before I continue? Let me be sure. Please, other people should confirm. Okay, so for the person that said he can't hear me, he or she, please, I think you should check your network. Sorry. Okay, so we have to refine. This is what we have on the 4 hours here. This is the level we need to look at for on the 4 hours. This is the level on 4 hours. So let's track it to the right hand side. Okay, so this is what we have on 4 hours here. So let's get to look because currently we are in a what bearish trend. So we need to look out for possible reasons to actually what take a sell for now. So we'll be looking at it from this level. So if you look at this level here, we had this break of structure. We have a break there. We have another break at this level. Another break of structure. We have another break of structure at this level. So looking from this level, we can see we have this zone here on 4 hours. We have this other level here on 4 hours. Let's step down to the 1 hour to actually get a more precise entry. Okay, so looking at the 4 hours, looking at the 1 hour, sorry, we don't have any reason to take a sell from this one, so this is taken out. So we have this other level here. we have this level, and if we get to mark the 1 hour level at this point, we have another break of structure at this level here. So from the 1 hour, we can see this is the most recent order block. We have the most recent order block at that level, and we have this low. We have this low here, meaning what? We're expecting that liquidity to be taken out. You also notice we have this trend line liquidity to the up here, which what we want to also see price take it out. Sorry, excuse. So we want to also see price take it out. So now, not just having this trend line, because when you're drawing your chart, you don't just need to assume. You need to look at every little details you get to see in the market. So if you look at this point, we had a change of character to the upside. That was a change of character. And if you look at this change of character, you have what? This other block here. So even if you had to actually take this sell, which personally I'm currently on this sell, because I actually did this analysis, that was like on Friday, so I'm currently on this trade, and I want to actually see what price would do at this level. That is what I want to see. I want to see what price would do at this level, because this is a very important key level for price. Because if you look at this point, we have this liquidity sitting here. We have this liquidity sitting here. So I actually want to see price get to take out this level, definitely, which price will do. Then look at the behavior of price at this point. If at this point price gets to this point and gives us a 15-minute confirmation, which is this price comes back into this point, gives us this type of confirmation at this level, then reaction to the downside again, I will take a buy to this supply. But for now, my overall bias is for price to take out this point, and if price is able to break this level, we have a liquidity trend line at this point. Let me take this out. Already we have this liquidity trend line, but price won't just drop like that. We have this skill level here that we expect this price to actually struggle with. This is like a bump on the road for Bitcoin to actually dump to the downside. So it's a very important level to actually check out. So this is what we have on BTC. If there is a confirmation at this point to take a buy, then we'll be looking at for possible buys. But for now, the sell is already in. Let me go down to the 15 minutes to see if we can get a confirmation sell entry that I get to share with everyone. Okay, so I think the confirmation has also played out already. This is the 15 minutes. I believe my screen is visible for everyone to see. So this is 15 minutes, and if we look at this 15 minutes level, this was where we had this break of structure to the upside, and we had this change of character at this level here. So having that level, see price gave us this engineered liquidity before price came back to fill in this level here, which confirmed the sell to the downside. So from the 15 minutes, price has already mitigated this level, and you can see price dumping to the downside. So already missed that on the 15 minutes level. If assuming we came earlier to prior to this time, maybe we'll be able to actually join in, but let's still see what the price will give to us at this point. Let's get to still see how the market will get to react towards the downside, and whatever information I get, definitely I'm going to share on both the WhatsApp and Telegram community for everyone to actually join in on this particular trade. I believe that's okay and well understood by everyone. So let's move on to gold. Gold this morning. What are we expecting from gold? Okay, so as we all do, starting from the weekly level here, so this is what we have on the weekly. You can see that gold has been very, very bullish, and the little correction gold has given, a lot of persons have actually been having some mental sickness from from trading gold for the past week because it's been crazy. Okay, so this was the last break of structure we had on the weekly. We are trying to get our directional buyers. So this was the last break of structure we had to the upside. So stepping down to the daily to have more precise insight. Okay, so this is what we have on the daily. Break of structure is still valid at this point, and from the daily we can't actually see anything obvious, but let's just mark what we can see. We have a break of structure here, followed by another break of structure at this level. We have another one at this level, and this was the last break of structure on the daily time frame at this level here. That was the last one. So where is the other block we have to look out for at this level? This is the other block. So from the daily level, this is what we have as our other block. Because if you look at this other block, this point was an inducement level before this fair value gap, and you can see price reacted nicely to the upside. So let's get to check 4 hours level now. So from the 4 hours zone, this is what we have on the 4 hours. Refinement of this zone, just as we all do of other block to that level here. So this is what we have on these 4 hours. And price didn't mitigate this level. Price came very close to this level but didn't tap into this level. But let's get to look at what we have before us now. So looking at this 4 hours level, we had a change of character here. This was an internal change of character at this level. Followed by a break of structure to the downside. Okay. We had the last break of structure at this level. That's on the 4 hours. Now, price came very close to this point, but failed to mitigate that level, and it gave us what? A change of character at this point. After giving us that change of character, price came back to mitigate this other block. That's to tell you that what price is ready to continue to the upside. And if you listen to, or if you actually follow, I think that was the last 2 weeks live section we held, you will see when I was explaining something concerning this level, where I said at this point we shouldn't be looking out for any sales. I think when I was actually making that comment, a lot of persons thought maybe I was just capping, but I think I'm so happy at least we've lived to actually see this day today, because this is from experience and so many failures and so many practices. That's all I can say in this particular scenario. So many failures and so many practices. So that was I was able to actually understand that this level was going to fail. Price was definitely going to take out this high. That's because of what we had this double top, and I was expecting price to actually what run into this level. That's why I said no point looking for sell from this supply. All we should look out for is if price is able to sweep above this level, then we look for confirmation to sell, which price didn't give to us. Instead, price gave us what? Run off of liquidity. Meaning we should still be looking out for possible buys to the upside all the way to this supply. This is the supply we should be targeting, except price gives us otherwise. So this is the supply we have at this top here. And looking at this level, you can see that price actually gave us another break to the upside at this point. So we have this break after having here as a change of character. Okay, now what was the next thing we wanted to see? Price coming back to fill this zone on 4 hours. So price has mitigated this level on 4 hours. That point has been mitigated just as we expected. Now what was the next point? Price gave us a change of character at this point. This is more confirmation that we should expect more buys to the upside. So let's step down to the 1 hour so we get to see more detail on our chart. And I believe if you've actually been following this channel properly, you will understand why we didn't see this point as a supply. Been following this channel properly, you understand why this point is not a supply zone. We didn't see that as a supply. Instead, we saw it as liquidity. This was a descending lows, meaning we have trend line resting. This is a trend line liquidity, meaning we have liquidity resting above this trend line, and that's why we didn't look at for sales. Instead, we had a major change of character at this level, and having this major change of character at this level, where is the next order block? You can see price has already filled this level. So the next order block we should be looking for is this point. Why are we marking this one and not the sell? Because that's the candlestick that swept liquidity at that point. So this is what we have on gold. This is what we have on gold for this week. Want to see price come take out this liquidity that has been engineered at this point, and we should have a confirmation on 15 minutes. This week all the trades I'll be taking will be based on 15 minutes, and they will all be shared on the community, because over the weekend I'm going to do a recap of all the trade I actually took this week. So this is what I want to see: 15 minutes. Even if it gets to my zone on 1 hour, I'm not taking it. I want to get 15 minutes. That's what I want to trade this week. 15 minutes confirmation entry. That's all I'll be taking for this week, because I actually want to catch more pips this week. I want to catch more pips. So this is what I'm expecting from gold. So we'll be able to look at Bitcoin, looked at gold, and you can see the buyers what we're expecting. You already know that these are all liquidity, and price has already taken out the first one. Want to see price still drop down, take out this level forward, continue to the upside, and whatever the case may be, definitely I'm going to update the Telegram group and the WhatsApp group. So if you're not on the group, please do where to check the description of this video to actually join the Telegram community. And if this is your first time joining us for our live section, please let me know in the comment section so we can actually welcome you officially. And let's move on to the next pair. I want us to look at USD card. USD card, one of the pairs I've actually been looking at for last week, and I think price is currently sitting at that supply zone. Okay, so this is USD card on the weekly level. This is the weekly level on USD card, and I think USD card is actually following the footstep of USD JPY and GBP JPY, just like we analyzed that we're expecting more bullish move to the upside. So this is what we have on USD card. So at this point, we had a liquidity sweep at this level, and we had this break to the upside. That's why we had a break of structure. I don't want to waste time here, So price came back to mitigate other block. After mitigating the other block, this was a major high on the weekly, and this was where we had a change of character on the weekly, and we can see that what price is bullish from the weekly. So let's go down to the daily. Let's see what we can get from the daily level. So looking at this daily price action, this is the change of character we had from the weekly, and looking at this level here, this is a break of structure. And what are we expecting? We want to see price dip into this level. This is what we want to see from the daily. So this is a daily level. All the criteria is met. So stepping down to the 4 hours at this point, this is what we'll have. Okay. So this is what we have on the 4 hours. This valid break of structure extended to the right, and we can see all of our liquidity. Price has still what created what more induced liquidity for us at this level. Is it? So from the 4 hours, you can see that we had a change of character, internal change of character. You have to always note the internal and external. This is internal. If this price takes out this low, then you have external change of character. That means a major low has been taken out. But this is what internal price action, and what we are actually trading now is what the internal price action. So looking at this level here, we had a break of structure to the downside. We have another break to the downside. Change of character on the 4 hours. This was the supply, and let's get to step down to the 1 hour. So if we get to, let me adjust this chart so we get to see something. Okay, so if you look at this price action, so this was the price action, and this was the supply zone I was actually expecting this price to run into. That was as of last week Thursday and Friday, and you can see price has actually mitigated my supply. You can see my line indicating this is where I wanted my stop loss to be. This is where I wanted my stop loss to be. As you all know, I always put my stop loss as at old highs and old lows. So I actually wanted my stop loss to be at this line, then my entry at this point, but I wasn't opportune to actually take this trade on Friday. I missed that. So what was the next I'm actually expecting? Because from the 4 hours, we already have our zone at this point. This is the level we want to see this price come back into, and we want to see this price sell to this point. So let's get to look at the 1 hour, because that's how we should be looking at for our trading opportunity. Just as I said, I want to trade 15 minutes all throughout this week, and I will do it to share all of my trading analysis on the group. Okay, so price has mitigated this point, and that's what I want to see. Now, what was the next thing I want to see at this level? The next thing I want to see at this level is a change of character. I want to see price drop below this level here. This is what I want to see, a change of character at this point. See, this price falls below this level, I'm not looking out for that sell, because ideally this is what a break of structure. This is a break of structure. and this is another block. This is another block. Until price fails at this point, then I have no business looking out for what? Sell. If price doesn't break below this level, then give me confirmation. I'm not looking out for that sell. So that's what I'm expecting on USD card. We are bullish, or we are bullish, but price has mitigated into the supply, and we're expecting what? Bearish movement to the downside. But for us to actually take that confirmation of 15 minutes, we want to see price break this point to the downside. So till we get that confirmation, we have no entry for USD card. So let's go to EU and GU so we can quickly look at JPY pairs. Okay, so this is Euro USD. Let's just look at it from the daily. Alright, so let's just mark our trading range on the daily. So on the daily, I can see a major high was taken out here, leaving us with this high at this point. This is the last high we have at this level here. And where is the other block we are expecting price to come back to on the daily? This is what we want to see. So we'll be able to actually derive the highs and lows on the daily level on Euro USD. So we'll step down to the 4 hours to actually understand what is happening on Euro USD from the 4 hours time frame. Okay, so this is what we have. First, I want us to look at the other block properly. Okay, so looking at this other block, this is what we'll have. So this is what we want to see, the 4 hours order block, and it meets all of the criteria we are looking at for trading. So we have to mark the internal price action of this level. So we had a sweep there. We had a break to the downside. Had a break to the downside. And from last 2 weeks, we are expecting price to be marked to supplies. This was the first one, and we had a supply here on 1 hour thereabout, I think. Yes, and this was the one price reacted to, even with confirmation entry on 15 minutes. So this is where price reacted to the downside. So what are we expecting now from Euro USD? Are we expecting a buy or a sell? Looking at this price action, we should look at this as our liquidity point for price to come back to this zone on the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, looking at the internal price action on this leg of price to the downside, what can we see? We have this change of character. So at this level, we have this change of character here for the most recent price action, 4 hours. Here we have a sweep. So let's step down to the 1 hour. But from the 4 hours, I'm seeing this zone. And I'm seeing this, my engineered liquidity. That's from the 4 hours. So let's check 1 hour. Okay, so this is what we have on the 1 hour. My stop loss should be at this high. Now, what are we expecting? You can see the break to the downside, liquidity created. So we'll be looking for price to come back to this level here, give us a confirmation for us to sell, and this is what our first target, this level. This is 2.5, and if we are trying to target the extreme or this level here, this is 2.8 here, but I'll be going with 2.5 at this level. That would be my first target. But if I'm using 15 minutes as my entry, I think this will give me a more better entry time frame or entry confirmation with possibly maybe a good risk reward ratio on 15 minutes. So, but generally, this is what we want to see on EU. We want to see price tap into this level, and price should be able to continue to the downside without breaking this liquidity high, because this liquidity high is very, very important for us to actually know if price will continue to the downside or to the upside. So this point is very, very important. So we've looked at EU, so you can use EU to actually look at GU, AUD, and all of those, because they're kind of like correlation pairs. So you can check them out. Let's look at US oil, then we'll look at silver before we look at the JPY pairs. So looking at US oil from the weekly, so this is what we have on US oil. On the weekly level, you can see price took out a major low at this point, and price returned back to mitigate that supply, that zone. You can see this liquidity was taken out, price mitigated, and based on our analysis, we want to see price come back to maybe clear this low. So we have liquidity at that point, except price is ready for a reversal to the upside. So let's go into the daily. Let's go into the daily now. So from the daily, let's refine this. So that's the daily supply. We have all of this liquidity that was taken out at this point. Had a change of character at this point. And price moved to this supply, and now price is selling on the daily. What can we also notice here? We have a change of character at this point, followed by a break of structure to the downside. But from what I'm seeing at this point, it seems price is trying to bounce back to the upside. So if we look at this, we see price is currently like reacting from this demand here. But let's go to the 4 hours and 1 hour to actually understand what price. Please, if I eventually drop any entry on US oil, and I think later I will edit the description of this video to add the lot size calculation for maybe those that are not on our trading community where those things were shared. Okay, so you can see price has mitigated this zone, price mitigated this level. Then let me get to take this off. This is US oil, and I did shared for all of, I think, should I say all of the pairs, almost all the currency pairs. I shared for US oil, gold, and the rest. So I will edit the description of this video and attach the link that to that file, so you get to actually understand how all of these lot sizes are being calculated. You don't have to think they are all the same across all pairs. Okay, so if we look at this particular pair we are we are looking at now, we see there was a supply zone here, and price has mitigated this supply, which still tells us that price is bearish to the downside, and price has been selling to the downside. Now we have key levels that we are expecting this possible reversal from, and the first key level is this point. That's if price wants to maintain a bullish push to the upside, because if you look at this point, this was the last supply we had, and price has mitigated this at this point. Let me see the next supply on 1 hour that we can actually look at for a sell from. Well, maybe you are just joining now. If you've been joining, you should know that that's the first pairs we always attend to. We always look at BTC and gold. They are the first two. Okay, so we have this point sitting on this particular pair, and whatever we are doing, it has to be with entry confirmation, and this low will be our target. As you know, we always trade zone to zone. This point will be our target, but to be on the safe side, I want to see the structure before getting to this point, and based on the structure, that's how we determine my profit target. So this is what we have on US oil. I believe all the charts we've explained, they are well cleared and well detailed, and we are all following. So let's look at silver. Silver has similar price action to gold. Silver has similar price action to gold. I think because of time, I will just maybe run through this on. Okay, let me just come from the 4 hours, so we'll get to understand where price is coming from. Okay, so if you look at silver, you have this major break to the downside. Market swept this liquidity at this level. Liquidity was taken out, which tells us that we are bearish. Price came back to mitigate this supply at this point, and we can see that price is selling to the downside, Now we've seen that we are still in a bearish phase, but in as much as we are in a bearish phase, what can we see? I am seeing something obvious at this point. Similar price action on gold at this level here, and if this point holds, then we should expect continuation to the upside. So let's look at 1 hour. I think the price has already mitigated it, so we have no business here, but let's still see. Okay, price is yet to. So on silver, we are expecting price to come back to this point and possibly give us a confirmation entry for us to look for a buy. That's it. We have just 12 minutes for me to look at USD JPY GBP card. Let's look at GBP card. I want the USD JPY pairs to be the last. Card. Take everything off. Okay, so let's look at this from the 4 hours time frame, and I'll be looking at just this price range here. So from this level, we have this low, and price failed to clear this low. So let's look at the internal price action. We had a change of character, followed by a break of structure. We had a break of structure. Price came back into this zone. Price came back into this zone, and that's how we had this push to the upside. Now price came back again. Let's see if there was a break below at this point. This is 4 hours. So on the 4 hours level, we had this change of character. Having this change of character on 4 hours, this tells us we have a key level to look out for price at this point. So let's step down to 2 hours. Let me see what 2 hours has for us at this point. Okay, so this is what we have on the 2 hours. Let me take this off. We have this internal change of character. Price has mitigated this point, so I want to see more sales to the downside. If the price is able to maintain this bearish push to the downside, so I'll be looking out for more sales if I'm to actually take this pair. So this is what I want to see, sales to the downside. That's for the person that asked for US GBP card. So this is what we have to the downside. Now let's look at USD JPY first, then GBP JPY, my two favorites. Okay, so looking at GBP JPY, I will just use the 1 hour time frame. Is that okay? Let's just look at the daily, because we had something on the daily level where my overall bias was for us to actually get to a high, and been anticipating this push all the way from this level till this point. And how was I able to actually understand price was coming to this level? Directional bias. If you don't understand directional bias, after this live section, do well to check out that video on my channel where I explain directional bias in details, and you get to actually understand how I'm able to come up with this analysis or understanding. So from the daily, price is still what? Price is still bullish. Price is still bullish from this level. On the 4 hours, this is what we have on the 4 hours. So let's get to mark price action on 4 hours. Okay, so this is a break of structure. Have another break of structure. Have this here, a break of structure, and we also have this tiny break of structure at this level here. Now, what are we expecting from this price action From this, I want to see price come back to this level on 4 hours, but we don't have any inducement or engineered liquidity yet on 4 hours. So let's step down to the 1 hour to get a more precise zone. Trading this USD JPY, you have to be very, very careful. You know, when I say very, very careful, you have to, because when you have zones like this, you need to look at them carefully. Okay, so this is what I have on USD JPY. This is my bias, and I want to see this point here, this level. I want to see this zone as my inducement zone. I want to see this level here as my inducement. I want to see it as my inducement. This should be, yes. So this is possible case scenario I want to see on USD JPY. I want to see this as an inducement, and I want this price drop into this level, because if we should go with this level, this is a very dangerous level to actually take this trade from. And I want all of us on this live section to actually check out this level. Next week we are going to actually look at the level that I actually want, but for my own bias, I want to see price come back to this level and not this one. Even if price wants to react, price should be able to at least go below this candle wick. I want to see price go below this candle wick. Very, very important. That has to validate this other block. So let's get to see how the week plays out. The last on the list is GBP JPY. I think today I was kind of like very, very snappy to actually cover a lot of pairs, and okay, so GBP JPY still stands from what we did last week or last 2 weeks. This is still holding. This is for GBP JPY. This pair is still holding. All of these other blocks has been mitigated, so this zone is still valid for us to actually take our trades from. Just like what I said, I'm not taking this trade immediately it comes out. Entry confirmation throughout this week is entry confirmation, and all the trades I also do share on the community will be based on entry confirmation. Okay, so we can see GBP JPY has actually taken out a high on the daily, which means we should be expecting maybe possible reversal to the upside, and that's exactly what the market has done. Friday will close bearish, and today market is pushing to the upside. So let's see what this week comes with, but all fingers crossed. Let me just get to refresh for those just joining, for them to actually see our buyers for all of our pairs for the week. So for the person that was asking for Bitcoin, or for those that joined late, this was what we analyzed on Bitcoin. No coordinate for USD JPY, yes, because we didn't say anything on USD JPY. Look at what we concluded on USD JPY. There is nothing to trade on USD JPY yet. This is what we're expecting this price to come back to this point. So no coordinate yet, except I'll be looking for sell buyers, and if there is any reason to sell, then I'll also steal, because I can see we have a valid change of character and other blocks. So if there's any reason to actually take a sell, we'll steal that on the community. But I'm expecting a buy. I want this price to drop to this point, then I will get a buy order. So back to Bitcoin, what I was expecting on BTC USDT. I will go back to that UJ. Which one is mitigated? Is it the buy or the sell? Which one is mitigated already? So this is what we have on Bitcoin. We want to see this price to the downside, and I was explaining something on 15 minutes or there. Okay, I was explaining something on this level here, that this is a valid order block and price can decide to react from this point. So the sell, if we don't break this level, then we should be expecting a reversal to the upside, and we'll only trade it on the 15 minutes. That's what we analyze on Bitcoin. Let's look at gold. Gold, we are expecting a buy from gold. We're expecting a buy from gold. Yeah, so this is it, but with entry confirmation. Entry confirmation. Gold actually did something great. It gave me a 1:3. That was on Thursday. So I want to see if I can actually get another 1:3 from gold this week. Massive 1:3, or at least 1:4, 1:5. If gold is able to do that, then I'm done trading this week. So this is what we have on gold. Back to the USD JPY. Somebody was calling my attention to something. The other block is mitigated. Yes. This is what you're talking about, right? This point has been mitigated. Okay, now let me delete this. This point, this other block has been mitigated by this one, and this one has mitigated this zone. No doubt. This can't hold. This level can't hold. This will only hold if this price gives you engineered liquidity before this point. And this analysis is based off of what we are seeing currently now, not what will happen in the future. And that's what that's why I said this analysis is based off of, as of today, this is what I want to see. If this price is to dump, I want to see this price dump all the way to this level, because this is an inducement. If you don't know, I explained something in my videos or during the classes. I said, if you have any other block that does not have presence of engineered liquidity or an inducement before that other block, then that other block is an inducement itself. I don't know it. Okay, let me see if I can get an example here. Okay, so okay, let me see if okay. Let me take this off. If we look at this, there's a break of structure at this level, and if you look at this break of structure, where is the other block? If I should ask a lot of persons, this is the other block, right? What happened? Buy from that zone you talked about just now. But okay, I've already attended to that. Okay, so if you look at this other block now, look at price tapped into this, and what did you see? And price later came back down to take out this level. Initially, when I marked, I think I sent this trade on the Telegram community. Then we later deleted that order because price didn't get into our zone on time. Initially, I wasn't looking at this. This is what I was looking at as my order block. This level here. This was what I was looking. And why did I look for this as my order block? I know definitely this was not going to hold this price sustainably to the upside. So I was looking at this level. So that's why I said sometimes experience will also help you to refine the type of order block you get to take your trade from. So for this particular case on USD JPY, you have liquidity at this point. So you have to be very, very careful. That's why I say it can serve as an inducement level. When you have liquidity below or above your order block, be very, very careful. Because market can use you as a form of liquidity before reversing. And so that's why we don't need to take this trade immediately it comes to this point. You need to wait for market to give you confirmation. And what is the confirmation you want to see? You want to see this price dip into this point then give us reasons to look for buy, then you're able to continue. So, or even if price does not tap into the other block we've marked, price should be able to sweep this point. And that's why I actually explain liquidity sweep. Price should be able to sweep this point at least into like 50% of this zone. Like 50% into this zone. You should be able to sweep this point and move like 50% into this level. Then it will make more sense to actually look out for buys from USD JPY. But if you rush in to take a buy from this level, what you will see is maybe price hitting your stop loss before continuing. So that's why we have to be very, very careful when we have zones like this. It's very, very important, and that's where experiences, practices gets to see you through when you have such zones. So if you've not liked this live section, please do where to hit that like button, and if you are joining us for the first time, please do where to hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when we drop amazing content, educational videos, and our live sections. You don't get to miss anything we do on this channel. In here, we are just about what helping the upcoming traders, those that want or they need help actually understand how the market moves and how liquidity in general moves in the market. This channel is here to serve you better. So do where to subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the post notification so that anytime we go live, you always get notified. Anytime we drop our videos, you always be notified. So keep showing up, and definitely one day you'll be able to figure out the chart properly too by your own self. So this is where we'll end it today, and do have a blessed week, and see you again next week Monday, same time here on this channel. So have a blessed week ahead. Safe.